not only to the fact that it's a rematch, but also the fact that we're going into a best-of-5 Squid.
That we are, and of course it's going to be best of 5 with a game advantage over to the side of KLB, so they only have to win 2 in this series in order to take that first place prize, but Zenith on the other side, they gotta win 3, so yeah, I guess it's just a little bit nicer there. We're gonna be starting out here on IME's app, and first we got bans on Vice all across the board here for Zenith. They're not too happy about the idea of having some Supernovas on the field. Atlas on the other side. Gotta say, I'm a pretty big fan of that one, especially with Timeless Creator being on offer here for the Awakenings.
Yeah, with Timeless Creator, I was thinking, hey, amazing chance for a goalie, you know, an Atlas goalie to come into the mix for this. Maybe even still gonna see a possibility for a Dubu off of that for sure, but we have the mission propulsion alongside it. The Rasmus obviously going to pick that up right off the bat, but looking at what we have so far, an IME and a Rasmus over for what looks like Zenith, and a Drakar Rasmus over for KLB.
Yeah. So I can't argue with IME either. On IME's app does make a whole lot of sense. So we're going to be seeing an IME and a Rasmus on both sides, and then the Drakar versus Kai is the difference maker here. Missile prop on Kai, of course, is going to be pretty, I would say it's going to be pretty helpful. We've seen a lot of quality Giga Blast plays alongside that primary fire in the barrage. So quite a useful pick there. We'll see who comes out on top. Of course, look out for some of those Rasmus hooks. That death touch in the middle is, well, it's rather famous around these parts. We're underway here. Grand Finals, best of 5. And again, a game advantage over to KLB. You'll see that in the upper right. We'll see who comes out on top.
And towards the end, you saw KLB start to run away with that game in the winner's final. I felt like Zenith a little bit ran out of gas, but a lot of the targeting from KLB was really what was, you know, giving them the reign over what seemed like the entire map. So going into this one, having Fang back on that Kai, he was doing a great job in that winner's final. Can't wait to see how that is. I'm a big fan of the Kai goalies, so gonna see if that can prove to be a valuable asset here to Zenith as we get a KO, but the net open for Zenith's side.
So yeah, the shield barrier is correctly capitalized upon there. Fang gonna try to deliver this one up to Rekko. Dinfar also in the zone with Corflip available. Balu almost being taken off the side there.
Wow.
Loads of knockback from that death touch. The Drakar dunk's not quite there. And now one off the side. That's the goalie con. But then the death touch comes into the other side. And Dinfar is denied with that Corflip. Balu almost being escorted off. And there they will go after the blink there from IME. Dinfar can't quite get the self-dribble on that one. Waits for the Xeno Cloak. But just gonna bide some time. Gets that respawn in. And now we're back to a 2v3.
Losing out on Kekle was pretty detrimental to KLB, but Lamacraft positioning there to save that shot from Dinfar was everything to keep KLB inside of this round. And there's still a lot of pressure coming up from Zenith, but the goalies have been standing on their heads so far for KLB. They haven't been able to get anything going. Both core flips missed for Zenith, so Fang in net. Now having to work this downfield. And Balu trying to put on the pressure. They get it past Balu. Finally sealing the deal. KLB staying alive for so long. Down so many players.
I absolutely love it. Going into OT on the very first volley here of the Grand Finals. What more could you ask for? It was Rekko trying to get a death touch onto the opposite side. And you did see, you know, Balu did get contacted, but it wasn't enough. And speaking of, Rekko immediately off the top here. KLB trying to push forward this momentum as much as they possibly can. Balu, loads of damage, and they're going to be shown off the side. Lamacraft will get the barrier as well as almost the goal there. It goes back all the way to the other end. Kekle can't defend it. Rekko off the side, and the core flip is good enough to knock that goalie right off the edge with a freebie.
Lovely net crash there from Zenith, I do say. Getting that initial KO gave them so much control of that core moving forward. They did not give it up too early either, so Rekko was able to position on the wing of Dinfar. And to that core flip makes it so easy to put it in the back of the net. Now moving forward into this one, still in that first set here, so players still will have plenty of time to build up as this game goes on. But right now, I'm actually really favoring what we're getting through from Zenith as they put in their second goal of the set. Now taking the lead. They're proving to be quite aggressive going into this grand final.
Yeah, we'll see how things develop, though. Of course, this is only the first of what will surely be many separate contests throughout this series. Almost that's 1-2 there from Balu. They can't quite get that one through. And now the dive. Kekle will have the eject button, though, and a fortunate bounce as he's them back in the zone. We lost one on the Zenith side. Firewall sentry comes in. Lamacraft can't quite put that one through with the primary fire either. And Rekko will find a little bit of space and time, but now the goalie being KO'd. Balu alongside Llama in the back, absolutely bullying that guy out of the net, and they tie things up.
I mean, Balu's control there with Kekle, just able to keep the core on that side. Llama was being such a nuisance onto Fang. It just makes it, again, it's just so easy to knock that goalie off the edge and secure that goal. Another KO for Zenith. And this is where Lamacraft and Balu have been just so annoying in front of the net. Having that player down, Fang has so much work to do. Luckily, the Kai has a lot in the arsenal, so able to keep things into play for now. But the strike from the IME Kekle puts it in the back of the net. KLB from down behind won. 2 goals in a row to take the set.
Certainly not the start that you want if you're Zenith either, of course. As you mentioned, a game advantage for KLB coming into this grand final as they are the team from the upper side. And now we get into the carousel. Not a whole lot of things instantly popping out to me. That glass cannon on Fang might prove problematic if they can get some space and time, but they have been bullied out quite a bit. Monumentalist here on IME for Kekle. Rapid fire, though, that's going to be a solid pick. I do like the Spark of Agi pick for Rasmus. Balu going to start building some sparks, and perhaps even some sparks on the side of the Rasmus we're on board with in Rekko. So that might become a talking point for later on in the match, but we'll just have to see how that scales out as we get underway with set number 2. Instantly a shield barrier down on the side of Zenith. Balu's going to try to do it all by themselves, but it looks like they didn't have anything off cooldown to make it happen.
And look at that rapid fire on Lamacraft already proving to be quite an issue. Dinfar is not able to push up half pitch at all and suffocate into the net. Zenith once more just get punished again and again. So they're going to have to work their way slowly across this board. They want to, take care of business. First, it's taking that pressure off of their net from Lamacraft and putting some pressure on the other side where we just see it barely saved by KLB.
Yeah, I don't know how in the world that one went off. Speaking of, Rekko being taken out, Firewall Sentry coming through, as well as the Monumentalist buff that you see from that. It is so much more impressive. I mean, even looking back onto the carousel, it really feels like KLB won, and they're continuing to win here. Balu is going to take that one to the bank after Lamacraft pushes Fang off the edge. It's a quick 2-0 here in game number 2. Game number 1. Game number 2 of this series, and they're off to a hot start. Zenith's going to be hard-pressed to respond to this.
They got to be more aware of their positioning. I think that Rekko getting KO'd so early in these rounds, just giving so much space for Lamacraft to do what they do best. So you just have to be aware of where you're standing, aware of where Lamacraft is as well, and start to, put some pressure on these players. Lamacraft cannot be dealing all this damage and staggering out these players for free. So have to watch to see how they change things up. Nice shot there from Llama to get it around Rekko. Rekko now in front of the net, looking for the barrier shield. Actually gets the rebound there, so opens the net. Dinfar's here with the Firewall Sentry. Not able to find the goal, but core flip. Rekko, the glitch pop saving it, but the core flip's going to get the job done. And finally, Zenith, they put themselves on the board.
And I love that value as well. Dinfar not only threatening the goal immediately with that core flip, which did go well for them, but able to push Lamacraft off the top, who has been an incredible annoyance. Just a massive thorn in the side for the side of Zenith in so far. Gigablast comes out, gets a little bit of extra damage on the Balu. But it really does feel like it's been a KO diff so far this game.
It has been.
KLB, they have been absolutely annihilating in the KO game. And speaking of, Dinfar's not doing so hot there in the staggered state now. So is Rekko. They're at massive risk right here. And oh, Lamacraft pulled off the side. The death touch is just enough for the Fisher. They've got to capitalize on this opportunity now, though. A one-striker advantage. They're going to move upfield. Rekko can't quite get through that one. Kekle is able to glitch upfield and get that one away. Plus the glitch pop. And they turn away this offense, at least momentarily. Well, gains some necessary space and time. Oh, beautiful eject button core flip to get that one away, too. I just love this gameplay so far from KLB. They can't quite get the shield bear on the other end, though.
Oh, excellent defensive core flip there from Fang to take a little bit of pressure off. Dinfar's going to keep it away, but low in the stagger. It is great for Lamacraft to get that revenge, put now KLB on the offense, but Fang is standing on his head in front of this net, not allowing that barrier shield to go down. Another KO here for Zenith. Net's going to be open. Now for the offense here, Lamacraft to Balu. Balu in front. Fang's going to keep it away. Rekko trying to keep this out of their zone. The KO as well. Whoa. And the double KO. No way. Dinfar, Rekko, the passing play. Zenith tie us back up.
That was just absolutely monumental from Rekko. I mean, having the foresight the vision to take out one player off the side. One Lamacraft, maybe you're just straight a little bit too close to the map. And then Balu, perhaps, just in full retreat mode after losing that the striker advantage, and they'll gain it right here, and they will immediately be lost again. Just barely getting too close to the side. Like I said, it has been a KO diff for Rekko. Absolutely the MVP of the last play, but now they're going to have to get back for this one. Shield barrier goes down as Balu is completely uncontested. The barrage, we'll see that one safely out to the side. Death Touch achieves nothing there for Rekko. Balu's going to try their hand in it, but they can't quite get it through on the bottom side. Lamacraft very close to the edge, but they do stay in the game, and that Firewall Sentry is going to be massive. Puts the shield barrier down on the other side. It's a 2v1. Did fall to the bottom, and they've got to set back Zenith from the jaws of defeat. How do they do it?
That comes down to a huge performance out of Fang in that last round. Able to keep that barrier shield alive so long, for the double KO to respawn again, for them to turn things around, for Zenith to start getting aggressive. I mean, lovely team play out of them, and just look at this. Spark of strength going forward, the Razmith right away for Zenith. Rekko now looking to put a little bit more power behind him.
Yeah, it does seed the big fish, but it allows for more power scaling. And we talked about this in the previous draft. So now, Rekko, Spark of Resilience and Spark of Strength on them. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say that Spark of Resilience is the spark that you would want if you had a choice between Agi and Resilience. Unfortunately, Balu got that the last time, but they were able to deny the Spark this time, so they're scaling a little bit harder now. We'll see how things pan out for the carousel, honestly. I was focusing on that one so much. Oh my goodness, Rekko! Yet again with a KO, this time on Llama. And, they're going to get taken off the top by themselves, but it still is a 2v2. Kekle has to play defensively. Oh my goodness, the glitch in. Dinfar, the tail swipe from downtown, stuns Kekle, puts the core in. What more is there to say?
It's just a mechanically scrappy game right now, Squidd. I haven't seen a game this scrappy in Omega Strikers for quite a while. I mean, it's just, you say it's a KO diff, but both sides doing quite a good job at keeping them on their toes. So barrier shield's going to be taken down by Zenith right away. KLB now open net. Firewall Sentry is going to do quite a lot of damage to the stagger of both Fang and Rekko. So both have to be careful not to get KO'd now, as you look at Balu trying to take a few off of his pitch. Rekko right on the edge eludes the death, and Dinfar are able to take some pressure off that net.
You can see both Fang and Rekko. Oh my goodness, they're just fighting for their lives in the back. They couldn't afford to move forward, and it opened up a heck of a lot of space for Balu to apply that pressure. Receive it from Lamacraft, and that's really just what's going to happen. You talk about opportunistic plays. We saw that from Dinfar on the last goal. You know, they saw an opportunity to stun both the opposing goalie and put the core on target. So it was just a bit of a freebie of a goal, I guess you could argue, and that was kind of a similar situation. You put the opponents in a bad spot, and somehow that one doesn't touch the shield bearer. I don't know how. Well, we're talking about KO diff, and, you know, I mean to say that it really does feel like both of these teams have been doing a quality job of capitalizing on the KOs that they can pull, which have not really been few and far between. We've been seeing players go off the side pretty much every volley.
Pretty much every minute, when you're really looking at it. And Dinfar, too. Both Kekle and Dinfar have been great at placing their Firewall Sentries in very oppressive spots. You see even Hero's going to stop half the map, keep things pretty tight-knit for them. The KO onto KLB, gonna force Lamacraft to back up. Can't get that core over to Rekko right away. Trying to pass it. Nice interruption from Lamacraft, giving time for the respawn to come back up. Balu now back in play.
Yeah, quality defense is not only something that we've been talking about, but the ability for these teams to use their forwards in order to interrupt passing plays in their own defensive half has been quite notable. Like we said, it seems to be all about the KOs and teams' abilities to capitalize on them. Rekko, I love that stealth pass using the death touch. Dinfar actually going to get involved in the fight here on the bottom side. Lamacraft pops core flip and will pull the shield barrier. And now it's open on both sides. I love that defensive core flip from Dinfar. It's almost safe to the bottom side, but Kekle correctly evaluates the velocity of that core. That's what you need to have. Rekko's off the side. Lamacraft's off the side. 2v2 now. Fang and Dinfar, I feel like they've got the advantage in this one, just off of strikers purely. That Firewall Sentry almost coming in closer. The glitch prop pre-fire to keep Balu from moving forward, and we're going to re-neutralize here well into OT.
Oh, in OT, the pass back to Balu. Pulls the core back to himself. Wide open net. Fang just barely not able to get there in time. Seals the deal for the second goal of the set. Oh my goodness, Squidd. I mean, these two teams, they are putting on quite a masterclass individually.
They are, and well, I guess Zenith weren't too happy with Balu's performance. They quickly escorted him off the top. And it must be said, you know, Rasmus, is absolutely deadly on IME's app, of course, because you can go fishing in the middle. But at the same time, being able to use that death touch for self-passing plays is quite an important quality. Lamacraft off of their own net now. Fang's going to pass this one to the bottom side. They've got Rekko in the zone. Glitch pop is not good enough to get that one away. They have to pop a core flip. They do get dunked out on this one, but Balu is able to take that initial control. Giga Blast to get them away. They're going to try to capitalize, but they still have a little bit of time. But Lamacraft back now is going to reset things here for KLB. Although, Rekko was trying to get into the zone. Death touch comes out. No dice on that one. They're going to try for the dunk, but it's not there.
Ooh, nice firewall sentry. He's going to keep Lamacraft close to the edge. A lot of damage there. On both Balu, Kekle, and Llama. Rekko's going to finish the deal onto Balu, so no more Razmit there for KLB to work with. Pressure onto the net. Tries to pass it over to Rekko. Dinfar's going to pull the elusive. In front of the net, Rekko, another KO. The firewall sentry the wrong way, and Kekle caught in front of the net. Not able to stop the onslaught there. Fang just places it in the perfect position for that goal. Now, next point wins the set. Both teams looking for a swing into the lead.
For lots of damage there, and immediately staggered also with the shield barrier down. Core flip is forced out of Fang very early on in this volley. Certainly not looking good for Zenith. Rekko, also the death touch there, is actually going to pick up the shield barrier. Kekle, I think, didn't want to burn any cooldowns, was hoping that they could get there in time, so that's going to leave a shield barrier down on their end. Core flip comes through, but the firewall sentry easily stuffs that, no questions asked. Giga Blast plus Rekko, they're not able to get that one away, and now they're down one player. Xenocloak comes in, plus the primary fire here for Drakar. Looks like it's all absurd at this point, but they do get it out. Rekko assists with that pendulum swing. Core flip to the bottom side, and Balu wins the strike war. It's 2 sets now for KLB.
That 50-50 for Balu was interesting too, just jumping right in there, puts himself in a spot to contest Fang right in front of the net. Fang without any cooldowns, just not able to finish that off. Also the tail swipe to go into the core flip from Kekle. I mean, KLB, even though they are getting contested in so many wars, still barely scraping away with the lead now. 3-2 victory, and that set goes up 2-1. And look at this, prime time on the Kai. Heavy impact for the IME. And I do like this play to go for the quick strike too. If you are Rekko, just having that strike cooldown reduced with how much pressure they're putting onto Kekle is going to be quite an issue.
Super Surge can provide a little bit of extra assassination potential for Kekle, increasing that range just a little bit, and of course adding some impact. They already have eject button, so you might as well get out there and get involved. Heavy impact on Dinfar, but prime time on Fang is the big one for me. I mean, being able to apply all that extra defense using your barrage is going to be a huge glitch pop. Almost finds the bottom side there for Dinfar. So I'd say overall, I would say that draft was probably a victory for Zenith, and they will take the first goal here.
I'd say so too, because how many times in that last set, Squidd, was Fang in a 1v2 situation, still walking away with lesser cooldowns than what he has now? So as Fang scales up, I mean, it's just going to allow Dinfar and Rekko to be all the more aggressive.
Yeah, Balu as well taking stacks on stacks. Keep an eye out for that because they're quite low on stagger right about now. Those stacks on stacks aren't going to do a whole lot when you're off the middle. And there they go. Death touch almost against Llama. They do go elusive in order to dodge it, and they'll pick up the shield barrier as a result. A little bit of a reward for their actions, although they will lose their shield barrier on the other side. Kekle dashes in, and then the eject button wasn't quite fast enough for them. So we re-neutralize in really the only way that you possibly can. 2 core flips available for Rekko and Fang. I love that interruption there from Balu. Reads that death touch from just about a mile away. Lamacraft is not doing so hot, but still is trying to sacrifice themselves on the offensive side. But the core flip actually isn't there. I thought Kekle timed that perfectly based on what I saw, but it goes through.
Rekko holds that to last frame. Touches in the last second, gets through both Balu and Kekle, where I was right alongside you. I thought that they had it, but 2-0 lead for Zenith here. Early core flip going to pull from Fang, not able to hit the corner, so going to be up to Rekko to clear it out from their zone. Dinfar very low on stagger. Has to be careful for that early KO. Balu, Llama going to be in the same situation too. The tail swipe from Dinfar, able to clear that barrier shield. Rekko gets the KO. Now with the life advantage, the glitch pop Dinfar seals the deal for a 3-0.
I don't think there's much more to be said about that. I mean, huge props to Rekko for seeing that opportunity to use the death touch on the back. It's something that a more casual Rasmus might not see, but there's only one spark on offer, and guess who gets the first draft? It's Balu. Fortunately, Fang is going to have pick of the litter on this one, and they're going to go for extra special. I have to say, Huge fan of that pick. They started out with Missile Prop, and actually, it's not going to be a spark for Balu. They go for Built Diff, and now the opportunity for Rekko to take Spark of Focus is going to be incredibly tanky, incredibly strong, and have all of that cooldown rate. So I am a bit surprised by that draft. They would have gotten a little bit of scaling, a little bit of extra speed, and after going with stacks on stacks before, it does feel like they were going to try to lean into that, but they opt for the Built Different instead. Maybe just trying to go for a bit of a deny pick because they don't want to let that fall into enemy hands. But either way, they're going to have to reap what they sow now. It's 2-2 here in Game 2. Every opportunity for Zenith to equalize this series at one game apiece if they can get that one away. That would have been insane, but Fang can't quite do it.
Now there's back-to-back awakenings where it seemed like Zenith may have won the draft pick, but this time around KLB strikes first off of that. Might be just trying to deny some of these KOs from themselves, and they're just able to run at the net, crash hit Balu. Lamacraft again doing what they do best, but right off the draw, it's Dinfar to take off Balu. And it looks like they're trying to go the other way. The Xenocloak able to at least deny the first initial shot, but Dinfar puts himself far post. The pass from Rekko, freely able to take that shot to the back of the net.
We've been talking about it the whole game. Ability to capitalize on KOs has really been the story for both of these teams. And Fang finding that early KO with the Giga Blast, I mean, you got extra special, you might as well toss it out, and there goes the Death Touch, and along with it, Balu. And now Rekko and Dinfar have a bit of a power play. Fang's going to try to get involved upfield here, using that prime time to the fullest of its extent. They cannot quite break past Llama, though, and of course has been playing an immense Drakkar in the mid so far. I feel like really every single one of the players has been playing immense, particularly Rekko, who's now on a massive KO streak. I didn't quite catch the number there, but it was in the red, and that's how you know you're doing well.
You cannot even overlook how important this game is to Zenith. I don't know how that goes off, but no goalie now. It's down to Lamacraft and a second goal for Zenith. But what I was saying, I mean, you cannot overlook how important this match is for Zenith. Just to tie up the series overall in the grand finals, to deny that game advantage that KLB had coming out of the winner's bracket side. So this match holds so much weight to its Squidd.
Terrors was absolutely annihilating now, pushing every advantage that they possibly can get their hands on. I mean, we talked about ability to capitalize on the KO. You know, I was talking about that. I did not think we were going to see it in this capacity. Lamacraft taking a little bit of damage there from the core flip. But Rekko and Fang and Dinfar have all been absolutely lethal so far in this set. And finally, Rekko will be showed off the side. But Balu needs to start building up those stacks on stacks. Even if they can get this goal here, they need to continue with that speed because they're losing a lot of that awakening in so far. They've been KO'd so many times. Look at the shield barrier here. Lamacraft and Balu so both in the zone, and they will get this one through. Fang did not have an avenue to get that one away. We're tied on match point here. Set 5, goal number 5 on the line.
The story goes the other way as well. If KLB can deny this, go up 2-0, I mean, that is going to break the hearts of Zenith. As hard as they've been fighting in this set, you do not want to lose it. Dinfar going to be taking control of this one. The elude from that Rasmuth. Balu able to stay on the map, away from that firewall sentry. The Death is not able to grab that core just yet. Xenocloak for Llama crashes the net. Barrier shield's going to be down. So is the goalie. No more Fang.
That's going to cause some problems in there. It will go. Oh my goodness, after so long, after such a huge fight from Zenith. Oh my goodness. I feel like they have deserved this win. But at the end of the day, it was KLB. You know, I've been talking up Zenith pretty much the entire game, right? But Balu, I mean, coming out there as the MVP for that one, and it really does feel like it's just like Rasmus world and we're just living in it, right? Let's take a look here at the stats. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of KOs.
Yeah, 12 KOs for Balu, 13 for Rekko, 9 for Fang too. I mean, like, just Fang was able to provide so much from that net for Zenith, and they fought so hard to take that win. But I think that just goes to show how good KLB are and how much resilience they have on this map, even though that Balu at times, it felt like towards the end of that series, Balu was always on respawn constantly because of Rekko, but somehow they still managed to. I mean, it goes to show just Kekle and Lamacraft how well-rounded this team is to provide that defense to allow Balu back onto it so that Balu can go back into his notorious ways to try and get those KOs.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth going back to as well. The fact that I was talking Zenith up so much that game. So much so that someone in chat might say that I'm a biased caster. Well, that might actually be true, but anyway, the point being that the fact of the matter is, you know, I mentioned that I felt like Zenith won the draft a couple of times. You know, if only narrowly, it did feel like that they won the draft on the carousel, and KLB were going to have a difficult time trying to contend with it. And while it did seem like it was going to be that way during the last set, we saw, I mean, I think 5 KOs come out in the span of like 40 seconds in the second to last or third to last set. But at the end of the day, they got their feet back under them, and they managed to take the win. So it's really difficult to argue with that, especially as you mentioned, Balu was still struggling much at the hands of the enemy. With stacks on stacks, as I mentioned, you know, it can be quite challenging to get your groove back. But we're on to a 10 city here now for what could be the final game of Twindrive Thursday, CMoore. What are we looking at?
I'm looking at the Vice here from Dinfar, you know, switching over from the IME for that pre-pick. It doesn't seem like they're going to go for the Vice because it was their ban originally in that first one. It looks like it's going to be their ban this time around. The Zentaro ban from KLB and the Vice ban from Zenith. So Dinfar is just going to keep it real, stick with the IME. We get that Atlas for Fang switching off from the Kai here in Athens City. I call it too early sometimes, Squidd. But you know, whether it was the Atlas or the Kai, I wasn't worried. I know that both of those characters would fit Kai's playstyle really well.
Oh, absolutely. Heavy impact on offer as well. I kind of see what Fang is going for, right? Because you can go Atlas, who, you know, you could argue as... I wouldn't even say that Atlas is the better goalie, if I'm being honest. I'm kind of betraying myself because I'm an Atlas player. But Kai with heavy impact cannot be denied. That Giga Blast made up... I mean, we saw it, 9 KOs for Fang in the last game as Kai with missile propulsion. You know, heavy impact, it won't give you the range, but it will sure give you the power.
No, I'm right there with you, too. I think that, you know, when you look at both Atlas and Kai, although I do enjoy seeing an Atlas stand on their head and hold a net for, like, all of the oncoming pressure.
Pretty much.
Kai, even downfield, just provides a lot even as a goalie. So it's something that you cannot give up when that heavy impact is on. So let's head into it. Technically, set 3 here in the Grand Finals. KLB up 2-0, looking to be our Grand Final champions. They strike first with the first barrier shield being taken down.
Rekko now standing alone on the field as a forward, and Balu a beautiful 1-2 with the death touch. I should say 1-1, pretty much to themselves. Both Kekle and their teammate will grab that assist, but that was really a Balu play. So well done, Lamacraft. You know, on the IME this time around, so a little bit of a different midfield style, I would say, from Drakar, who basically just walks around and threatens space with that primary fire. A little bit more movement for Lamacraft. They'll use the core flip to put the shield barrier down on that one. Almost to the top side goes Balu. Can't win the strike roll, but the glitch pop is there, and Lamacraft seamlessly transitioning from that Drakar play straight into IME. That's goal number 2 now, set 1.
It's almost kind of similar to that Drakar play, too, just trying to put pressure on Fang for those goalie touches. Lamacraft was so annoying there as Drakar, just trying to lock and load and make sure that Fang was never comfortable for passing it out to his strikers. So 2-0 start for KLB, and this is something that I'm worried about for Zenith too, because back in the winners final, we started to see, you know, Zenith put up quite the show, put up quite the fight against this KLB team. But towards the later ends of the matches, you started to see them running out of gas when they lose out on those close sets. And how close that last one was, I don't want to see them get in their own heads. You need to see them bounce back here fast.
Oh, absolutely. I think a set 1 victory here for them would be absolutely huge. We'll just have to wait and see, though, as we get underway. This is going to be volley number 4 of this set. Core flip pulled from Rekko. It's going to achieve pretty much nothing, but it will keep them in the zone, which is quite an important achievement in its own right. And there goes Dinfar. They're going to need to respond with a KO on Balu. No, Rekko is actually going to rescind that offer.
Oh,
and
no.
Can't get that one out. The shield barrier goes down shortly, followed by the goal. That's set number 1 done and over.
And because that shield barrier wasn't fully gone, Fang had to pass it upfield. And Balu was just in the perfect spot to intercept that, take the shot. So heading into the first Awakening draft, a 3-1 win from KLB to take that first set. See, mission propulsion there for Fang might make it a little easier, but going for that extra special for Lamacraft is going to put that that sentry, that firewall sentry on the field so often now.
Specialized training as well for Balu. It's a little bit of extra damage on that death touch and more impact on the core. Twindrive, Kai here. I can't say that's necessarily terrible. Monumentalist though on Rekko, I feel like that's going to be a little bit suboptimal. I'm sure that they were hoping for something a little bit more favorable than Monumentalist. I mean, you don't get too much benefit out of it. Of course, it gives you more leniency on your death touch, but for players of this caliber, it feels like that's pretty much a moot point. Although we do see Rekko make great use of it there. Pretty much across the entire field goes Balu straight to his death.
I mean, if he can make it work, he can make it work.
Yep.
But for now, you're going to have to see them really fight against a KLB team on the grinds. Fang now in net. Balu putting the pressure. Kekle is going to go for that eject button back over through. Now the offensive side the other way. Kekle trying to hit that death touch onto the core. Going to be interrupted by Lamacraft, so not able to take that core back down. So Fang again just having to stand on top. Dinfar extremely low on stagger, so Balu went for the KO, but just barely a miss there. The Firewall Sentry closes in on Fang, and Balu wins the touch.
Yeah, there's not much more to be done there by Fang. When that Firewall Sentry is, you can't try to fake out the opponent and go down. You have to go up and almost a little bit to the left on that kind of a situation, just because you're going to get dunked immediately if you don't. And it leaves so little for Fang to really do about that one. So Balu gets that nice and easy dunk, although it's a shield barrier immediately on the other side. Quickly into volley number 2. Wants a stagger on 2 players. Lamacraft and Dinfar both at risk, and there goes Dinfar. We're going to have to see if there is a response from Fang or Rekko on Lamacraft. Core flip is forced out there as Balu is trying to force the issue onto the offensive end. You can see Rekko is trying to target Llama. That's the benefit of getting the Twitch stream feed. They are going for it. They want that KO, but they couldn't quite get it. And Llama now just a little bit safer as their HP is still rather quite low. Dinfar again off the side. I don't know what else there is to say.
The combo from Balu and Lamacraft there was incredible. Balu just using the elusive to stay away from the Firewall Sentry. The fancy footwork. Lamacraft just boxes them in. Rekkle's going to get a little bit of revenge. Dinfar respawns. Now the core trying to cross half. Kekle's got to be in trouble here because Dinfar and Rekkle, we know how good they are at working together. But it's the Firewall Sentry again to seal the deal. Closes off Kekle from defending that core. And an easy sail into the back of the net.
Now that Firewall is going to be on cooldown here. Looking at this volley, we'll see if that makes much of a difference. Rekko immediately goes in with the haste.
Wow.
And wow, that secondary cast doing a heck of a lot of good for them. They got the shield barrier immediately. Death touch there from Balu. Interrupted. Rekko can't pick that one up with their own death touch, but they do have Dinfar down, trying to work on their own for that. Pendulum swing was not enough to get it through. But hey, pushing a disadvantage with the shield barrier, applying that kind of pressure early on, it does force a lot of abilities out of the opposition. So do what you can. Lamacraft almost becoming the victim of a Giga Blast there. Not quite. Balu actually interrupted on that death touch, and I love the read. Rekko was able to put that one bottom side off of the opposing death touch to Dinfar. Beautifully played.
Both of these Hymies, Firewall Sentries, have been basically the sealed deals to a lot of these goals into this set. I mean, each volley seems to be determined on whose is going to be a little bit better to close in on that goalie, and Kekle's been on the losing end of back-to-back now. So Dinfar doing an exceptional job with those ultimates. Now with a core flip on board for Fang and Rekko. Dinfar had it, but now they're off the edge. Gonna have to be a defensive side, but the Firewall Sentry is gonna get rid of the barrier. Nice little core flip there from Balu, not able to put the shot on net. Rekko trying to get things away. Death touch back to himself. Kekle keeps it away from the net. Balu low on stagger. Can they get the KO back?
Gonna see if they can't send Balu for a 12-second vacation. Oh, that angle! Balu gets credit for the goal. Lamacraft with the tail swipe in and then sent it down into the left. That one caught me off guard. I'm sure that might have been a little bit more expected for the players on the field. I'm not nearly as talented, but my goodness, what a mix-up. That'll be goal number 2. They're going to see if they can make this a 2-set advantage now. They got the shield barrier down, and this would be absolutely devastating for Zenith. Not only would they lose out on the first draft, but now, oh my goodness, everything on the line. KLB up 2 sets on game number 3 of this series. They're looking to make it a clean 3-0 in this last match of the night.
Reminiscent from the first game, too, in the first set of that. Going up 2-1. Zenith just not able to close out on these games. Walking the boulevard of broken dreams right now, heading into another awakening draft. See the spark of agility here for what looks like Rekko trying to build those sparks up again.
But still, I mean, the super surge in prime time draft here from Lamacraft and Kekle respectively, plus quick strike onto Balu. I feel like there is very little that you're winning on here in Zenith. We talked about how Zenith winning the draft last time, they couldn't put together the win. They came so close, but even with the draft dubs, they could not put together the win, or at least as we perceive them, draft dubs. But now, this is a massive loss on the draft. Super Surge on Aimi, as well as Primetime on the opposing Kai. It's just going to be oppressive in here already. Goal number 1 falls for KLB. I don't know if there's much more to be done here, CMoore.
I mean, this is where the frustration surely sets in, especially when it's Fang losing on so many of these one-on-one touches in front of the net. It's just Balu is providing so much pressure onto the shoulders of this Kai that I'm sure you're just sitting there unsure of what to do next, even if you're Zenith right now. So KO, Firewall Sentry not able to put that core into the net. Barrier Shield's going to be opened up for the side of Zenith. 2 seconds on the respawn for Dinfar back onto the pitch. The elusive from Fang leaves the net open for the moment. The glitch pop almost finds the goal. Just not yet. Not yet. We're back to even. Fang's low and stagger. Core flip from Lamacraft. Core flip to Kekle. The KO from Kekle as well. 2-0 for KLB. This is series point.
Coordination was there for KLB, moving that one downfield, popping the core flips, popping the death touch to get Fang out of position and then take him off the field. There's not much more to be said about it. Zenith at this point feels like it doesn't matter what they do. They're going to lose out on this one. There's the shield barrier down, and it feels like it's all but a formality at this point. They're trying their hardest. Death touch from Rekko is there, plus the core flip. Can't quite put it through. Lamacraft! Oh, Fang just barely gets it away with the barrels down to the bottom. Firewall. They don't want to give up, but the pendulum swing puts it away. Clean 3-0 in set 3. Clean 3-0 in sets in game 3. KLB leaving nothing to the imagination, and it's gonna be Lamacraft on the MVP this game. Like I said, seamless transition from Drakkar into Aimi. And wow, I don't really know. Like I said, nothing to the imagination. They won that one in just about every way imaginable. Well played.
From start to finish in that second game, they just looked like the better team, Squidd. I mean, KLB so well put together. Like I said at the end of that first game, even when they're backed into a corner, that teamwork and the trust in them for their individual skill to shine, you can look at any 3 of these players and just expect them to win when they're in crunch time. Look at the KOs, definitely were not as, you know, prominent here. You expect that moving away from Amy's app, but just look at what Lamacraft and Balu are able to do in the damage field for them, putting so much pressure on that net side and always making sure that Fang just cannot get comfortable in their net. Only 28 saves for Fang. You can see that they just weren't able to get their footing like in that first game.
Well, I mean, particularly if we're going to talk about pressure, you could check the goals and assists as well. I mean, we saw assists just across the board. I believe it was 2 + 7 for Llama, so 7 assists. I mean, that's just incredible goal participation because, well, you won every single set. That's 100% goal participation. You had 6 + 1 on the side of Balu, and then I believe Kekle even getting a little bit involved there. 1 goal and 2 assists. So I think it was their ability to play as a team in the offensive zone. I mean, we saw lots of solo potential from Zenith, and don't get me wrong, they made some passing plays, particularly in Game 1. We saw them, they get the striker advantage, maybe even a double KO here and again, and you leave Kekle back alone as Aimi. There's only so much you can do. We did see those passing plays coming out of Zenith then, but particularly, I think it was the combined solo potential for Balu moving upfield as Rasmus, which, again, we saw in Rekko as well, but then combine that with Lamacraft on Drakkar on Aimi as well, who, like I said, made an absolutely seamless transition because they could be a little bit difficult, I guess, to go between for a lesser experienced player, but it's really no problem for them. And their combined effort in the offensive zone resulted in many offensive pushes that resulted in, you know, goals for. And you mentioned the firewall sentries as well on both sides did seem to be of the utmost quality. So there's really like no fault I could find in their Game 2 performance.
And I don't want to take away from Zenith either going into that second game. I think that you could see them trying to piece things together, but after a Game 1 loss like that, it just seemed like it was almost exactly the same situation that we were put in back in the winners final, where they play so close, they play to the wire in that first match, they lose out just at the very last second, and then they get a little bit in their own heads. So you can definitely see the frustration in them going into that last game. I would say I wouldn't want them to walk away with this with their heads down low. They were so close to getting it done in that first game, and I was almost rooting for them to take it to the distance here because you know the potential of these players. for sure. I think that if I'm Zenith, I cannot wait to see how this team evolves going forward.
Yeah, well, they'll have an opportunity next week. Twindrive Thursday will be returning. Unfortunately, we will not be having a Primetime Tuesday, I think as a result of the 4th of July coming up, America. Yes, yeah, because that's going to be falling exactly on that day. But yeah, they'll have every opportunity to come back on the next week. And I think KLB's performance here was just, kind of on another level. So I'm on the same boat. I was gassing up Zenith all game one. I was really hoping that they were going to win that one and then really give us a series to remember. But it wasn't quite meant to be. They'll walk home, though, with a little bit of the prize. Of course, 105 in total. 75 of that goes to KLB. Congratulations, my good friends. And then 30 additionally to Zenith, which, is on top of a couple of additional awards, as I've been told in the background. So you can't really be too mad about that one. But yeah, I would say overall it was a quality bracket. I don't really think there's a whole lot more to be said overall, other than thank you guys for joining us insofar. And CMoore, if you have anything left to say, of course, you can find us both on Twitter at our tags below. If you enjoy the commentary, we would appreciate a follow. But yeah, any final thoughts before we send it off?
I cannot wait to see these two teams go at it again next week. KLB and Zenith, they put on a show, and I expect it to be even more sought out for in the next week's Twindrive Thursday. So, Squidd, nothing else from me. What an incredible day of Omega Strikers we had. Top-tier competition here in Europe, and I just look forward to seeing it again.
Well, that's going to be it for the show. We want to thank everybody behind the scenes, and we want to thank you again for coming out. The viewership has been insane today, guys. So make sure you show up next week. Twindrive Thursday will return here on twitch.tv/Vodible, but that's going to be it for now. We can't wait to see you for the next event.
Drowning at your